Alright, today we're going to be learning about triangles, specifically their properties, talking about what makes specific triangles have certain names based on their sides and angles. So first main thing about triangles, all three angles of a triangle always are going to add up to 180 degrees. That's super important because that's going to help us solve for missing angles later. But they're always going to add up to 180 degrees, no matter the size or shape or the length of the sides of the triangle. So there are three types of triangles. The first one is an equilateral triangle. All that means is that all three sides are the same length and all three angles are the same. So because all the angles have to be the same, they're always just going to be 60 degrees. These little tick marks here that were in the picture just mean that it's just telling you that all of the sides are the same length. So this one's easy to remember because if you think equal in equilateral, it means the same. So all the sides and all the angles are the same. So that one's pretty easy to remember. Now isosceles triangle is a little bit more difficult of a word to remember. I always remember it by looking at the two S's in isosceles. So two S's and two sides. So that means that two sides are equal and then two angles are equal. So isosceles triangle. And again, it has the two little tick marks to represent that two of the sides are the same measurement, the same length. And then it's also going to have two angles that are the same. And that's what those lines represent. I just gave you another example of a different looking one. There are going to be a lot of different looking isosceles triangles. They're not all going to look the same. And the last one is a scalene triangle. That one means there's no equal sides or equal angles. So there are tons and tons of different triangles that would look like that. So if all the tick marks have different numbers, like there's one tick mark here, 2 on this side, and then 3 on this side. If you can look on your paper, I know it's a little hard to see in the video. But there's 1 here, 2 here, and then 3 here. Same with the angles. There's different amounts of lines on each section. That just represents that each side is different, and then each angle is also different. So scalene triangles, all sides are different and all angles are different. Alright, next thing is the types of angles within a triangle. These are probably going to be a little bit more familiar vocabulary words, and I think you probably learned about them in 6th grade. But for an acute triangle, it's pretty simple. All angles in an acute triangle are acute, which means less than 90 degrees. So every single angle in the triangle will be less than 90 degrees if it's an acute triangle. An obtuse triangle means that there is just one angle that is greater than 90 degrees but less than 180, or one angle that's obtuse. In this case, it would be this guy right here. The other two angles are just going to be acute because we can't have more than one obtuse angle in a triangle. So even though there's only one obtuse angle, it's still called an obtuse triangle. And then finally a right triangle. This one's pretty easy. It's called a right triangle because there's a right angle in it, which means it adds up to 90 degrees. Then the other two angles are going to be acute, just like the other two were in the obtuse triangle. So there you have the acute triangle, the obtuse triangle, and the right triangle. The next video is going to show you how to, knowing these properties, and especially about the 180 degrees. Remember that all three angles add up to 180 degrees. That's what the next video will show you about finding those missing angles.